Good morning. Welcome to It's Friday here. I don't know when you're going to watch it, but I feel like it's Friday, so we should celebrate. So, in honor of Friday, I was about to do my Friday workout, and I realized that my hips and my lower back are really, really tight from all the sitting and studying and late nights this week. So, for you too, I decided to go through a little 5-minute yoga. It's yoga poses, but it's not a yoga routine. You don't have to be an experienced yogi to do these. These are just wonderful hip and lower back openers that really are accessible to everyone. So you can use this as part of your warm-up. You can use it as a nice morning routine if you wake up a little stiff, or at the end of the day if you want to kind of go to bed with the lower back and hips not bothering you, so you can sleep a little more peacefully. So this is really just 5 minutes of good stuff for your body, specifically for your lower body. So what you're going to need is just a place, a little space that's as big as you are, as long as you are. You might need either a yoga block or blocks, or you can also use some towels or blankets stacked up if you need them. You might not need them. So we're going to start with reclined thunderbolt pose, and this really lengthens the quads, opens up some space around the knees and the lower back. And we're going to start on our feet. So right off the bat, this is where we might need a block. You want your feet underneath you, so the tops of the feet are on the floor, and you're sitting down. Now you might try to sit your bottom down and realize, whoa, that's really tight through my knees. So you grab a block, put it right between your feet, and you sit on it, or blankets or whatever you need. You want enough space between your feet that your bottom can drop down in between. So you might even feel some tension on the top of your feet here. So just take a second in this pose. If you need 2 blocks, if you're really tight through the knees, go ahead and stack up 2 blocks and see how you feel, right? So just play with it. So find the place where you can hang out for 1 minute. All right, you've got the tops of the feet on the floor. The knees are wide enough for your feet to fit down, or your bottom to fit down in between. With your spine pretty straight, you don't have to flex everything you've got, but I want you to start to lean back and just let your hands come to the ground. Now again, this may be plenty, and that's okay. So what we're going to do is, and I'm going to turn sideways so you can kind of see, and this may not be very pretty because, like I said, I'm pretty tight. So you can have your block or not, right? And that's just going to decrease the angle of the knee bend right there. So take it if you need it. So hands back with your spine pretty straight. All you're going to do is just keep walking yourself back. Now you might end up with your hands out to the side. Some of you might be able to pop right down to the floor, put your elbows on the floor. If you find that you're getting back there and you just don't really need the block anymore, you can take it out, which does definitely increase the stretch. So I want you to just work yourself down to whatever place is right for you. This is plenty for me today. And we're going to hold here. So in through your nose, breathe in. Exhale through your nose, nice and slow. Breathe in. And breathe out. Now if you find that your neck is building tension, all you do is just come up a little bit, take a little break, maybe go right back down. But spine nice and long. Hold, we're almost done. One more breath. Good. Now use your hands. Push yourself back up. Take your hands forward and maybe rock into a little tabletop right there. Shake out the feet. Okay. Pose number 1 is already done. Pose number 2. Same pose, but with an emphasis on one side. So again, you might want to use your block. You're going to peel one leg out from underneath you and stretch it out in front of you. Let's see if I can get to where the camera can see that. All right. So use your block if you need to. I'm going to try it without it. I'm feeling like this side can do it. I'm not so sure on the other side. This side we're going to try it. So again, you want the top of the foot on the floor. The knee is just wide enough for your bottom to be able to sit down on the floor, okay, or on your block. And again, here we go. We're with our spine long. Just walk your hands back. Now, this is a little more intense on each side, so don't just try to assume that you're going to pop right back down to where you were before. So if that knee starts popping off the ground, you need to pick your body back up. And we're just going to hold here. Relax your neck, but keep your spine long. Support yourself on your arms. Nice deep breaths. In and out through your nose. If it gets to be too intense, too much stretch on the knee, we definitely don't want to cause any pain. Just come up a little bit. Or if you need to, go back to your block. Put your block underneath you to decrease that knee angle. Some of you might even be able to lie all the way down on the floor. That is not happening for me today. Some days maybe, but not today. All right, come on up. Peel that one out from underneath you. And then let's peel the other one back behind you, which is the easiest way I find to get into it, but it's up to you, right? You do want that foot, you do want your bottom sitting down on the floor though, so it's not, you're not leaning up and that foot kicked out to the side. The top of the foot is on the floor, okay? All right, this is the whopper of the side. Ease your way back. Woo. Ooh, got a little adjustment there in the top of my foot. This ankle had a bad sprain when I was younger, and so this ankle actually gets really tight. Nice deep breaths. This side is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Make sure your hips are on the ground. Nice deep breaths. One more. Ease your way up. Ooh. Okay. Take the legs out in front of you. Give that a little shake or wiggle your feet, whatever you need to do. And we're going to move on. So coming into pigeon pose, the favorite way I like to get into this is to start from that tabletop position. Now you're going to take your left leg and you're going to bring the left foot towards the right hand. So that knee kind of kicks out to the side and the foot is aiming towards the left wrist. No, right wrist, I'm sorry. Left foot to right wrist. It doesn't necessarily have to get there because what we're going to do is we're going to take that right leg and slide it out behind us. Now, this is another opportunity where you might need a blanket or a block, right? If you get to a certain point where it's painful, or you can't let that hip, this front hip fall down without that back hip rolling over. We want the hips to be as square as possible. So if it causes any pain at the knee joint, lower back, any of those things, just support yourself with maybe a block or your blanket or towel. But keep easing that leg, that foot back. Your back foot, if you like it better, you can push into the ball of your foot, which is going to give you a little leverage to kind of push that hip down. And on your front toes, if you can, pull your toes towards your shin. And that's just going to help look after that knee joint. Now we have a decision to make. Are we okay on our hands, or do we want to keep dropping our chest over that front leg? Whew. You want to keep your hips as square as possible. Find a place where you can essentially relax your neck. Some of you might even be able to go all the way down to your bellies. Nice deep breaths. Think about breathing into those hips, right? Into the glutes, the outside of the hip there, but also the front of the hip on that back leg. No tension in the neck. Support your upper body with your arms. If you're able to go ahead and go down to the floor, you can completely support your forehead with your hands. One more breath. And use your hands to lift your chest up. Lift your bottom up. Get your knees back underneath you. Whew. And now we got to do the other side. So from that tabletop position, this time your right foot comes toward your left wrist. This one's a lot harder for me. So once you find the place where your foot lands, then the right foot slides out behind you to the point that you can't sit down any further, or you would have to rock your hip open to sit down. Your back toes can be tucked, or the foot can be flat, but you want the knee pointed down towards the ground. Your front toes, hopefully you can see it, pull the toes towards the shin. If you need more, you're welcome to kick that foot out a little further, but it does increase the stretch around the knee, so just be gentle there. And you can use your block or your blanket underneath your right hip if you need to. So decide where you're going. Are you staying up on your hands? Are you coming down to your elbows? Or maybe you're coming down all the way to the floor. Keep reaching that foot out behind you. Keep those hips square. Nice deep breaths here. Maybe with each breath you actually find a little more space to go a little further. Lift the chest up using the hands. Lift the hips up. Bring the feet or knees back underneath you. Whew, I'm feeling better already. All right, so most of you probably know this pose or do the pose without even realizing you're doing some yoga. It's called the eye of the needle pose, which is what most of us do for a glute stretch. So using your hands behind your knees, go ahead and roll yourself down to the floor, supporting yourself there. All the way down, let your head relax onto the floor. Your spine is completely relaxed. Now, in this position, on this stretch, you might want to have a towel if you have very tight hamstrings. So grab a little towel if you need it. What's going to happen here is we're going to take our right foot and cross the ankle over the left knee, and we're going to pull those toes towards our shin, right? Now, lifting the left leg, push the knee towards the chest, and your hands are going to reach through and either grab the hamstring, or some of you might even be able, without flexing the neck and shoulders, to go ahead and clasp that knee. This would be the place that you would hold your towel if you have to lift your shoulders off the floor in order to clasp the leg. All right, and we just hold. So, back of both hips on the floor, shoulder blades on the ground, head completely relaxed on the ground. You can flex both feet here. Deep breaths. Very gently unclasp the hands, lower the left leg, uncross the right leg. Give a little shake if you want. And then we go to the other side. So now, left ankle over right knee, flexing those left toes, letting that left knee fall to the side as much as it wants to. Keeping your lower back on the ground. Drive your right knee towards you, flexing the foot. Now reach through and either maybe grab the hamstring with your hand or towel, or if you can, go ahead and wrap your hands around the upper part of the knee. Only if it feels good. Only if you're able to do this without lifting the shoulders and head off the floor. Now let everything on your upper body fall back down to the ground really heavy. Keep the feet flexed. And keep drawing that right leg towards you, increasing the stretch through that left glute and hip area. Easing up if it causes any pain or pinching feeling. Breathing deep and slow. And release. Roll yourself up. And I forgot what my last pose was. Oh, this one is called Half Lord of the Fishes. So this is a really great one for your lower back and for that outer hip region. Also for the hamstrings, especially if you're quite tight. So you're going to sit on your bottom with both legs extended out in front of you. If your knees need to be a little bit soft, that's okay. You want the back of the heels on the floor, though, so your feet are not pointed, right? We have our kind of toes pointed up to the sky, but not a super hard flex. Now, take your, let me face you to start with. So let's bend your left knee. Put your left foot over your right knee. Now I want you to imagine that you have those Barbie doll feet, right? So your toes are pulled towards you, but you're pressing through the ball of your feet. So it's like your toes are spread out, they're splayed out, right? Your left foot is relaxed on the ground. Now your right elbow is going to hook over your left knee. If you're just looking at me going, that is not happening, lady, just hold on to the outside there. So if you can, hook your right elbow. Use your left hand to counterbalance that by pushing into the ground, lifting the chest up. Your palm is splayed out, fingers splayed out. Your toes are splayed out, right? Now lift your chest and gently push your elbow against your knee as though to drive your ribs around. So your neck is relaxed, you're not pulling yourself around. You're just anchoring that elbow to the knee to give yourself not a turning point, just a little leverage point, a little anchor point. Nice deep breaths. Good. Unfold, and then we're going to go the other way. So uncross. kick it out if you need to. Cross. Okay. Now on your left foot, we have those Barbie doll feet, right? Splay your toes out. Press through the ball of your heel. I don't know if you can see that. I think it's cutting it off just a smidge. So Barbie doll feet. Toes are splayed out. Push through the ball of your foot. Right foot is relaxed on the ground. Now, right arm behind you. Chest up tall. Hook the left elbow. Fingers splayed out. Lift your spine tall. And then ribs. Ooh, ribs come around. Whew. Ease up if it takes your breath away like it just did for me. So we aren't forcing the neck and the eyes around. They just go where they want to go. We're dropping that right shoulder blade down, giving ourselves more space to turn. Good, and relax. All right, shake it out. Come back to hands and knees and just finish with a nice cat-cow, nice arch and release. I said 5 minutes. It's because of the talking. If you do it and you just go to the poses and breathe for 5 to 10 breaths, whatever you need to be able to settle into your pose, it should take you about 5 minutes. So hopefully that made you feel a little better. Let me know how it sits on your body. Maybe some of the ways that it works for you. If you're, end of the day, beginning of the day, or before you work out. Have a great one.